welcome back to the channel. Unfortunately, this is not part 2 of the Mini. I had to put that project aside because I have issues with my Subaru Outback. It's my daily driver, especially in the winter. Stuck in traffic, and the light for the coolant started flashing. And then after a couple of minutes, it was a solid red. It's indicating that it's overheating. So I determined that it was a head gasket issue. Manual transmission, 2.5 liter engine. It has 224,000 kilometers or something. And in general, it's a good car. I haven't had any big issues with it. The thermostat was opening at around 90 degrees Celsius. The first speed of the fan, the cooling fan for the radiator, was going on at about 100, and the second speed was going on at 103. And once they went on at idle here in the parking lot, everything stabilized and there was no overheating. It's only when I was driving under load that it started overheating again. So I determined that it was a head gasket issue, done all the repairs, and here's how it went. So I gotta get everything off the top here. It'll be easier to work. The air conditioning unit, I have to swing it aside. Still decent. Power steering pump, we'll just flip it aside. Well, I think I found where the gasket has an issue. Take a look. You can see some antifreeze right there. So that's where it's the gasket has failed. Got a coolant line that started to leak. I don't know if you can see it right there. As soon as I started moving the hoses around to unplug the hoses, that got opened and pissed coolant all over the place. So I've got this this hose to change. Hey! Yay! 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 And that's it for today. This is the top side. Ah, crap. I gotta pack my antifreeze. That's oxidation. Okay, let's continue. So I'm not gonna stay underneath because it might fall off. There we go. It's this one right there.
This one's hard to get. These other two are done. Go. This in the garage. So we have the bolts that hold the engine in, and we have the front engine support to take off. Okay, Mr. Benjamin, lift it up just a little bit to take a bit of tension off of the transmission. Okay, stop it. Check the freaking bolts. Yes, we forgot a bolt. There's another bolt here. Bring it down a little tiny bit. Okay, give it just a tiny lift, please. Okay, stop it. And I don't want to force too much. I don't want to crack any of the casing or anything. Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Okay. Okay, so I think we're good to pull now. Get the camera out of the way. Okay, let's go. Oh, it's too low. It's too low. It's too low. Jack it up a bit more, please. As soon as I pull it, it goes down. Okay, that's beautiful. The engine is separated. Okay, can you jack it up?
Yeah.
Slowly, yeah. Oh, good. Good. Keep going. Very good. Keep going. Keep going.
Nope.
No, we're still missing a bit.
The oil pan is too
Okay,
low.
so bring it, pull it forward a bit. We got to clear the hood. Pull it back. A bit more. Okay. Yeah, we clear the hood now. We're good.
All right.
As soon as we clear the pan, we can pull it back out. I think we should be okay. So the engine's on the engine stand. It's pretty dirty. I'm going to get the vacuum cleaner out and clean that up a little bit as best I can before I start disassembly, just to start on a good base. There we go. So how did I do that? How did I block the crank? I put in a bolt that I had that had the same thread as the pressure plate bolts, and it got blocked by the engine support. Nothing left. Nothing left. Yep. Okay, so we gotta align our markings. We got our marking aligned with the block here, and we have marking on the pulley that's aligned with the little notch in the plastic there. When I bought the car, I was told that the timing belt had been done. but I didn't have any invoices to prove it. These guys are kind of noisy. This guy too. Does even play. This guy doesn't make any noise at all. So I think I'm going to change the pulleys, and I guess I'll replace the timing belt at the same time. Oh boy, I wasn't expecting that. It's the cross pipe. It's cooling, and I know that there's a leak. There's a leak on the O-ring on this side. Not too bad. And here it goes. So what do I see? I'm going to be changing this coolant pipe because there's a little hole here and it's really corroded at other places. And that one wasn't too hard. So they might have changed the timing belt, but they didn't change the bearings. I have to clean this up. It's a little disgusting. And thermostat. So that's a job for this guy. There we go. Here are the parts that I received for the moment. So we got our gaskets, head gasket, the valve stem seals, third part, intake gaskets, exhaust gaskets, the valve cover gaskets, head bolts, and timing belt, tensioner, no noise, all the pulleys, tooth pulley, third pulley, and a new water pump. So there's no particular side. You gotta slide it in. There's a groove in the middle. So this was at the top, and I'm going to put it exactly at the top like on the old one. So this is a bit better. It's It's a bit oxidated, but it seems still pretty solid. Okay, it's done. Got this guy on the side. Here. $25, $30, 20, 25, 30, 20, 25, 30. So I'm going to try with some 600 grit. I don't want to be too aggressive. Let's do the other side. So I'm pretty sure that we found the area where the head gasket had a problem, where it was leaking and having an issue. And it's where I saw the antifreeze on the top of the engine block, and cleaning the contact surfaces of the short block where the heads will be attached and where the head gaskets go. And exactly at that area, there's barely any metal that's really clean. It's all kind of oxidated and dirty. So I've already cleaned, I cleaned everywhere. And the area that's not being cleaned really well is here at the top. So if the head gasket was against that filth, and I've already sanded it down a bit, so it was worse than that initially. So the nice metal where the contact would be is not there anymore. There's not enough. This isn't enough for it to properly seat. So I'm going to sand it down a bit more with my 600 grit, and we'll try and get a really clean contact surface to not have that issue again. I cleaned up the mating surfaces the best I could. So this is the area where the contact wasn't all that great. So we're down to bare metal again, and it's looking pretty good. Take off the oil pan. I'm going to change it because it's getting pretty rusted. It's a good time to do it. And I noticed that there's a little too much sealant that was applied. So much that inside it was starting to come apart. And if that got loose and went into the oil strainer for the pickup tube for the oil pump, that could have blocked it and it could have starved the engine of oil. So way too much silicone here, or sealer. When it oozes out that much on the sides, it's just that there's too much. So still in the process of prepping the engine for the new heads, or the rebuilt heads that are arriving. This looks about right. There we go. So for the crossover pipe, the contact is pretty clean. These two are clean. This one is a bit oxidated, so I'm going to pass it on the wire brush. And I'm going to pass this guy too. And I'm going to put some high temperature paint on it. There we go. A little bit cleaner. This one too. The exhaust manifold. So the gasket's off. and it's pretty disgusting. So I got the strongest sandpaper that I had, which is a 60 grit. Now let's see if we can make this a bit better. So for an exhaust manifold, that's not too bad. The old, the new. So really the most important part is where it's going to be squished. So this contact here and this contact here, which is pretty nice. They're sanded, and quite a bit of crap went into the manifold, and there's a catalytic converter that's right on it. So I don't want that stuff to stay in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the vacuum cleaner to try and get as much out as possible. Still on my prep work, I have to transfer this to that one. So let's look at the angle we got to have. Okay, so my marking has to be aligned at a 90-degree of that with this hose, or with this tube. And then just slide this guy back on. I got the heads back from the machine shop. The guys at Champion did a very good job in the Prairie, and they were really quick. So it only took them 2 days to do it. So very pleased with that. Let's take a look to see what we have here. So the heads have been machined, cleaned, pressure tested, and everything was good. So we're good to assemble. The seal is out, but it was a massacre. I had a lot of trouble getting it out. So I hope the next one will be easier. Well, no, my first one is that this screwdriver is rounded off at the edges a bit, and the fact that it's edged off, or that it's rounded off, when you go to catch the seal from behind like that, it just kind of slides on it and it just damages it. It doesn't catch it properly. It's a screwdriver that has a sharper angle. There we go, it's a bit better. Already oiled it with new oil. Push this in, it goes in very easily. Okay, and let's push it all in with my fingers on this one. That's nice. Perfect. So I'm just going to put one bolt to hold it in a bit so it doesn't fall off. So all the other bolts have to be dipped in oil. All the threads have to be submerged in oil. There we go. And on the washer as well. So this is one of the most complicated torque sequences that I've ever seen on cylinder heads, or on any bolt or part for that matter. This is 29.5. B. C. Okay, now 70.1. Sequence A. Okay, unscrew in reverse order, 180 degrees. F. E. Okay, unscrew again in reverse order, another 180 degrees. So that's F. One. Uh, 44. G. F. Okay, so now another 90 degrees. Turning by A. Okay, and then we add another 45 degrees. One, two, and then A and B another 45. Getting hard. All right. So while everything is taken apart over here, I'm also going to change the crank seal. It's just a couple of extra bucks. So I'm hardly forcing and it's moving out, so that's good. So same technique with the screwdriver, flathead screwdriver that has a nice angle at the end, just like we did with the cam seals. Let's see how well we can do this one. Oh, that's pretty good. Moving. I see this silicone that they added that's breaking off. All right. So it's seated, and I was lucky I can get everything on just with my fingers. Give this guy a bit of slack here. Yep. Okay. Oh yeah, that's it. That's how to do it. Yeah, I'm off by 1 tooth. So this guy has to be just a little bit before the mark. 1 tooth before the mark. Let's try that now. Up. Okay, now put it on the mark. Pick up the slack that was here. That gives all the slack now on the bottom part. My mark is aligned. My mark is still aligned on the other side. Let's put in this guy. Okay, let's check our marks. So we've got our first timing mark that's there, aligned with that slot. If you feel like that's properly aligned. In the center, we have our center mark on that tooth, and it is properly centered. And over here, I don't know if you can see it, but right down here we have a mark. It has to be aligned. It's aligned with this white mark here. So the mark down there is aligned with the mark on the top here, and that's aligned with the junction between the front of the cylinder head and the back of the cylinder head. So there we go, properly aligned. So let's give it a couple of turns, make sure that the alignment marks stay the same. So I didn't release the pin yet. I just want to make sure that everything is good, because that has to be put in a press if I want to put it back in. But everything is properly engaged, so it shouldn't skip any teeth. I'm going to go slowly. I actually have alignment marks on the belt. Huh. So that's 1 full turn. My marking's there. This is centered and that's centered. And align it with the keys. There you have a white mark on the timing belt, a white mark that's centered on the timing belt, and another white mark that's centered on the head. So this Daiko timing belt, if you align it properly with the key here on that mark, then you should see that your other marks are aligned as well. Okay, super happy. So I'm just putting them figure tight because I got a torque spec for that and a sequence as well. Okay, it's trying to get resistance here. That's 5. It's 5. That's 5. I'm going to put some anti-seize on these guys because it tends to get very hot, and I want to be able to take these off easily in the future. This is copper anti-grease or copper anti-seize. So the wiring harness went through here. I'm changing the oil pan because it was very rusted, and I thought this was a good time to do it. I think I paid $50 something for the oil pan online, and I need to get rid of all this old sealer, this old gasket. So the most part I took off with the scraper, and but I don't want to scrape too much and damage the metal. So I got out an old brush. It's like a wire brush, but it's actually plastic. It's not metal, and it works pretty well. Let me show you. Can you see it there? It's as if I don't know, the oil pan was off and then it fell. The engine block fell on something. I don't know. But with silicone, it'll be okay. Is this way that it goes in? I believe so. Let's get our bolt ready. just took off the clutch bearing. This bearing is actually only 3 years old. I changed it because the previous bearing seized. I think Subaru has an issue with those because the bearings usually let go a lot faster than the actual clutch. So I put in a clutch kit. Listen to that. And this. It has play already, and it's noisy, and it's full of crap. So I got a new one. It's our new bearing. No noise. So I lubed everything up. Let's install it. We have some metal clips to install. So I had already cleaned the clutch disc and the pressure plate. I don't have my centering tool, so be a visual guess, and that does look very nice. So I screwed on the bolt a little bit to give a little bit of a tension on the disc, and then I can center it and it won't move, and then I can just tighten them a bit more. Two. Three. Okay. I think that'll clear. Why? Oh. Okay. Just missing it a little bit now. So here we go. That's the one of the lower studs that's in, and on the other side the other one. Right there. So now it's a question of getting the good angle on the engine. So I have to tilt it back and then slide it in. The engine slid in properly, so we still have a gap. You can see it there. So right now I can't push it in further because the splines are not aligned between the transmission and the engine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn a little bit the crank. It's not the right bolt. There we go. So I'm going to turn it just a little bit and we'll see if we can push it in. So yesterday I was trying to get the engine mated to the transmission, and I had a lot of trouble. I was pushing it back and forth, left to right, top to bottom, changing the angle of the jack, and it wasn't going in. I had all the trouble in the world. And I remember that on one of my previous Beetles, I had the same issue, and it just needed one little thing and changed everything. So there's one of the guide pins that I didn't sand, and there was a bit of rust on it. So I put a bit of WD-40 on that, and I changed the angle of the jack a little bit again, and all of a sudden, boop! Everything went in properly, and I was able to attach the bolts nice and snug. So I already attached all the bolts that are on the top side. So there are 4 bolts, 2 on each side. I have 2 grounds on the Subaru engine, and they're both screwed on to the cylinder heads, 1 on each side. So I've got 1 here, and my other one is here, and they're screwed on here and up here. So before I screw these back on, I sanded down the metal on the strap to have proper connections, no oxidation on them. I sanded down the area where the bolt is going on and where the contact will be like this, because there was paint here, so paint is not always conductive. I've got that's cleaned, and I'm actually going to put in some dielectric grease as well. That'll prevent a bit of oxidation or slow down the oxidation of this connector and keep our ground as best as possible. The manifold is on, the exhaust is attached, everything's bolted on at the bottom here. I made sure that the drain plug from the new pan is bolted properly. The ground wires are attached, so everything's look good. This is properly, the oil filter is properly attached as well. Our gasket looks nice on our new pan. So back to the top. Get a little extra grip on that key, an extra leverage at least. Okay, aligned. Hey, look at that. So we're at that time where everything is plugged back in, put back in. Fuel lines are on. Hoses to the radiator, heating radiator is there. Belt is good and has good tension. I haven't plugged in the battery yet, just the positive side. We'll do the negative soon. So let's go put some fluid in here. So for cooling systems, I like to use the original stuff because you never know how the non-original might react with the components. So I'm not taking any chances on that. And I guess I could get a funnel. Not too bad. Oh. Okay, we've reached the top. The only thing left to be plugged in is the battery. I've got my fire extinguisher ready in case there's an issue. When I take apart a lot of stuff, I always like to have it handy if ever I did something stupid. I didn't hear anything at all. Nothing whatsoever. Is the battery dead? I hope not. It started up real nice. Thermostat's still cold. Bottom hose is cold still. So everything checked out. I have circulation through the water pump. The fans are going off at about 100. I put the AC on, I put a strain on the engine. It heated up a bit more. The second fan went on as well when I hit 102 or 103. And I'm letting it cool down. We're going to check the cooling level once the car is back on the ground. Oil level as well. And we'll go for our test drive. I just finished a 30-minute test drive in traffic. I went up to 70 kilometers an hour. Little streets, driving low speeds, stated idle, etc. I had the AC on, and I was monitoring the coolant temperature, and we didn't go over 92 during that test drive. It was mostly staying around 89, 88, 89. So everything is good. I stopped at one point to check if I had any leaks anywhere. I didn't have anything. So that's good. Tomorrow I'll check again under the vehicle and check the levels, coolant and oil, just to validate that everything is still good. So that's a wrap. Cylinder head gaskets replaced, timing belt replaced, tensioner. I can't remember everything that I replaced. Anyways, everything that needed to be done was done. And glad it's over. I can get back to the Mini and try and finish it. So money-wise, I'm up to $1,600 on this repair. That includes $520 for the head resurfacing and the head test and cleaning and all that. That was the bigger part of it. Wise, it took me, I think, 2 days at about 6 hours, 6.5 hours per day. And another 2 days about to put it back in. So it wasn't really hard. It was just time consuming. I didn't need any special tools that much. Everything was pretty straightforward. A couple of bolts that aren't well placed, and a couple of connectors that aren't well placed, but nothing you can't get around. So there you go. Time to get out of the garage and do something else. Stay tuned for the next one.